Okay folks, so I'm all locked and loaded this morning, and to continue my series of weird little places, today I'm going to this place that I've researched, and I wanted to do it before I left this district, and I think it could be rather interesting for us. So I mean, if it's not, oh well, I guess I don't have to post this video, do I? So, in effect, I guess I'm talking to myself, which is not unusual. I talk to myself a lot these days. Sometimes it's an interesting conversation, and sometimes it's just downright weird. Anyway, I'm sure I'm going to end up in an asylum one day if they can catch me, right? Anyway, enough of the jokes, and I'm going to get on my bike and let's come and check out this place. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a 300 or so kilometre round trip from where I'm at the moment. Anyway, are you curious? I the heck am. I am. So come on, let's get going. Let's get on the bike and let's see if this video turns out to be either something poetically tragic or something really cool.
On the far side of town, sharing a dream with anyone. She's made it through heaven, she's made it through hell. It's just another story to tell. Have you ever felt you're missing the dream? Like the movie on the screen, filled with heartbreaks and fights through Hollywood nights, making up a bar queen on the phone in the great big boulevard.
Well folks, this is where I've come from.
Just another story she tells. Have you ever felt you're missing the dream?
And this is still yet where I've got to go.
Was like the movie on the screen, filled with heartbreaks and fights through Hollywood nights.
Well, we've made it. Welcome to the tiny, make that absolutely minuscule little town on the Queensland, New South Wales border, Hungerford. Well, I went to say hello to New South Wales. I knocked on the door and nobody's home. Well, folks, that was rather an interesting ride. 167 kilometres or thereabouts. Only about 20 kilometres of it was actually sealed. So the rest of the road was unmade. And it was really interesting because once you got used to one surface, it would change and you'd find like ruts in the road and big, you know, sort of rocks. And yeah, it was really quite interesting. But I made it here in 4 hours to Hungerford, and as you can see, folks, it really is a one pub town, but this pub is a little bit unique. How's this for a lovely old hotel? Just a quick stroll from the state border. It was originally built as a staging post for Australia's iconic Cobb & Co coaches. A rest area for horses and a place where crews and travellers could take a break from the relentless heat.
and of course the less than perfect track between Bourke and Thargomindah. Construction started back in 1873 with corrugated iron that was carted from around 200 kilometres away. Can't you just imagine that? Each coach dropping off a little more of the building materials each time they passed through. And at the time, it was little more than a shed. However, it eventually became the iconic Royal Mail Hotel. Nowadays, the hotel is still here. It's the last standing of the original staging points used by Cobb & Co between Bourke and Thargomindah. And to this day, the mail truck still stops here as it travels that same route that was used back in the day of horse and carts. The place is full of history, from the photos of pioneers of a bygone era to the original nature of this old building. It's all here. And the publicans, if you're lucky enough to strike off a conversation with them, they'll tell you of amazing first-hand experiences as you consume a beer or two or three. I know this place is in the middle of nowhere, but I really hope to come back one day.
To the naked eye, this could just be any old fence, but it's actually got a really astonishing history to it, made famous by Henry Lawson in 1896 with the poem While the Billy Boils. Now, Lawson was quite a realist and quite pragmatic, I think. It's sort of that walk in the summer of 1893 sort of confirmed to him his reality that the Australian bush is rather a harsh place to be and not the idyllic and romantic place that a lot of other poets and authors at the time were trying to convey. And yes, while the desert out here is rather harsh, it's hot, like the sun's beating down on me, and I can only imagine his walk in the summer of 93, back in those days, 1893 we're talking about, how harsh it would have been for him, right? Now, he was kind of being so ironic in the fact that, like, why is this rabbit proof here in the first place when there's rabbits on both sides of the fence? I know, right? Anyway, so he penned that famous story, and I've actually got a few more facts on it for you.
It's quite a fence, isn't it? It joins with another fence down the line, which at one point had it stretching to an astonishing 8,614 kilometres, making it the longest fence in the world. It was constructed back in the 1880s as a rabbit-proof fence, and on that front it wasn't exactly successful. Eventually it was rebuilt, and this time it works. With its netting underground, it's pretty much rabbit-proof. However, its main focus is keeping wild dogs and dingoes from sheep and cattle. And today, in the midst of the COVID era, it's a stark reminder of where I'm not allowed to go. Crossing that fence right now would leave me with a huge fine. So for now, my journey moving forward will take me in the other direction. As to where that will be, I guess we will discover that together. But that's all part of the fun, right? 4 hours across desert terrain just to visit a pub. I'd like to say it's the first time I've done this, but there was that time a few years ago when I